Thank you so much, Jace. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Last day of AWE. Hopefully, you're excited. This is hopefully, will be your cherry on top. So great to be here. Really excited to meet all of the community again, and great to be back in this event. As Jace mentioned, we just got some good investment from Qualcomm, a fantastic partner, which I'm going to tell you more about later. But today I'm here to tell you about how you can build applications in 3D, AR, and VR really, really quickly with just a few simple steps. I run a company called Echo 3D. We are a cloud solution for 3D applications based in New York. A little bit about me. I did my master's in computer science at Columbia University, specializing in 3D, AR, VR, computer graphics, and my undergrad in computer science and electrical engineering, specializing in cloud. So a certified nerd and a big believer in the world of 3D and the intersection with cloud technology. Now, I'm going to use a lot of these terms, augmented reality, virtual reality, and I know this is an AR, VR conference, but I just want to level set and make sure that everyone's on the same page of what those terms mean. So when we say virtual reality or VR, basically it's when everything around you is digital. You're fully immersed in this 3D environment, and everything around you is basically a digital construct that's being projected into your eyes through some optical see-through, through some kind of headset, basically, that includes everything you're seeing. As opposed to augmented reality or AR, in which we still see the real world, but we're looking at this world through some optical see-through or some camera see-through, and digital content is being projected on the world around us. A really cool and comical way to understand this is the amazing movie Space Jam, in which we have Michael Jordan being teleported into Looney Town. Everything around him is a cartoon. He's fully immersed in this kind of 3D environment, interacting with bugs and other Looney Tunes. As opposed to what we have later in the movie, in which we have Looney Tunes coming to us, playing basketball with Bill Murray and Michael Jordan in a real-life court. So that's kind of the differentiation. Either we are being teleported into Looney Town or Looney Town is coming to us. Now, another cool examples of these things, of these technologies, something that you all know and probably love and probably tried at some point, something like Pokemon Go. People are running around interacting with digital monsters who are not actually there. Or for VR, we have something like Beat Saber, where people are basically slashing cubes based on the rhythm of the music. Now, these are really, really cool kind of examples that you all know and love. But another example is really close to my heart, and the pun here is definitely intended, is my thesis project back at Columbia University, where we took CT and MRI scans, converted them into 3D models, put them on the smart glasses by Microsoft called HoloLens, and allowed the physician to see the patient's heart floating above them during surgery. It was an amazing use case of AR in the OR. That was kind of the tagline. And basically gave the physician a way to see get this kind of 3D reference map of the patient's anatomy in real time. But in order to do that, I had to do kind of something that I really, really hate, and that's waking up super early in the morning. I had to take those 2D scans, convert them to 3D models, rebuild the application, deploy it to smart glasses, and be at the hospital like 6 a.m. to achieve that. So the problem was for me as an engineer how do I manage and deliver 3D content to an existing application that is already built? And if you think about it, this problem was kind of solved for what we call 2D data. We talked to so many developers who are building applications for retail and shopping and data visualization and gaming, and kind of everyone said the same thing, that it's really hard to manage and deliver data for 3D. But as I mentioned, in 2D, that problem was solved. If you're building a website, you can use something like Heroku as your cloud backend. If you're building a mobile app, you can use something like Parse or Firebase as your backend as a service. So we're, as a society, kind of transitioning from web to mobile to now AR, VR, 3D, Metaverse, immersive, call it whatever. Question obviously has to be asked, who's going to build the same kind of cloud solutions for the world of 3D? And you've guessed it, that's what we do. We basically provide tools and network infrastructure for companies and developers who want to build games, AR, VR experiences, and any metaverse app that you can think of, from NFTs to face filters. Kind of the same way, if you're building a website and you don't need to be kind of a web developer, you can just drag and drop an image or video, suddenly that appears in web and mobile. Or if I'm in New York and you're here in California and we're both watching an episode on Netflix, we automatically get the best streaming experience. So at Echo, what we decided to do is to translate these concepts into 3D, AR, and VR, allowing it to manage and deliver 3D data and get the best 3D streaming experience. And what's interesting here is this kind of bi-directional connection between content and location, something that we don't have in 2D. You as a user, you can't move an image or a video on a website, but you can definitely move a 3D asset across the room or an avatar across the game. And that location needs to update on the cloud. So basically, we've decided to build this kind of content management system and delivery network that's really focused on 3D content. And today I'm going to show you, literally with just a few clicks, how we can build applications, how we can deploy assets, how we can deploy an asset to the cloud, and then to your device, literally right now here, and then to Unity, which is an amazing game engine that a lot of developers use. You can go to our website and register for a free account and play around with it and recreate everything I'm going to show you today. It will basically allow you to build applications really, really fast and have them be connected to the cloud in just a few clicks. So let's dive in. So I'm going to literally pray to the demo gods and hopefully do like a live demo to show you all how that works. But after you register to our platform, you get an access key. It allows you to basically build kind of repositories of 3D content. You can have multiple keys. These are basically almost, again, almost like a Dropbox for 3D content. On the right here, you're seeing my phone. And I'm going to start with something simple. I'm going to show you, first of all these integrations that we have for Unity and Java and iOS, and even Niantic just released their kind of Lightship SDK. We already have an integration to that. That basically means that you can build applications anywhere. Your content lives in the cloud, and you can decide which renderer you want to use. Now let's start with something simple. Let's just add some content to the cloud. So you can add images, you can add 3D models, you can add animations, you can add videos. We also have a search engine that is kind of filled with 3D models from third-party sources like Sketchfab. But let's start with something simple. I'm going to upload this Empire State Building because we're from New York, so kind of fitting. What happens right now is that we take that 3D model, we convert it, we compress it, we upload it to the cloud, we store it in different servers all over the world, literally just a few clicks, in order to make sure that every time someone uses it and queries the data from the cloud, they get it from a server physically closest to them. We can see that this original file was an OBJ file, but our system already converted it to GLB, USDZ, whatever. It just means that it will work on different platforms, and you don't have to worry about compatibility. And now let's try to stream this to everyone's phone. So I'm going to show this QR code. If you want, you can scan it right now live. I'm going to do the same with mine, so you can just follow on screen if you don't want to use your phone. But I would definitely recommend it. It will redirect to a website. You don't have to install anything. Just redirect to a website. You'll see the Empire State Building right now. There you go. I'm seeing it here on my phone. I'm going to click CNAR. You should do the same. And then move your phone around a little bit, and basically the Empire State Building will stream from our cloud to your device right now. So check this out. How cool is that? Let me just a little bit. There you go. So the Empire State Building is here with us. I see a lot of people using their phones. This is fantastic. How cool is that? I was able to upload something to the cloud, and automatically we're able to see it on everyone's phones in just a few clicks. This is kind of the power of the cloud. That allows you to synchronize to multiple devices, send data remotely to everyone here live. So really, really cool stuff. Now, this is obviously a simple example to show how you can kind of upload something to the cloud, then see it on your phone. As I mentioned, we also support kind of natively, we support game engines. So if I want to bring the same 3D asset, let's say I want to bring it into Unity, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to download our SDK right here. Here's Unity. I'm going to plug in our API key right here. And then I'm going to press play. Data will stream from the cloud to Unity. Now our cloud will basically recognize that instead of streaming it to my phone, it wants to stream to a game engine. And voila, the Empire State just appears out of thin air. So if you want to build this kind of interesting VR scene, you can do that real quickly by, again, just uploading content to the cloud and then bringing it down to the game engine. This means that if you're building an app in Unity, your app will be super, super small because the asset, the build, doesn't actually have all these assets built in, and they're always streaming from the cloud. This means that when you publish your app to the App Store, again, you're publishing a really small build. Now, let's talk about updates. Now that we're connected to the cloud, you have all these benefits of real-time updates. If I want to make this building animate, instead of, again, building my application or doing anything technical, I can go back to the content management system and say, let's add some metadata. And I'm going to do something like, let's do direction equals right. Bam, suddenly it starts to rotate in real time. So this is obviously a very simple example, but it is to show that you can publish changes in real time. You can change your application just by a few clicks. If we decide that we want to build this kind of VR Metaverse city, we can add more buildings together, literally construct everything on the fly right here. I'm going to just add some data, and everything will basically automate in real time. There you go. I just change it there, automatically changes everywhere. If I stop the application from running, everything disappears because nothing actually persists on memory. Everything is coming in from the cloud. If I restart our game, our app, everything will restart accordingly. So basically, we have what we call a stateful CMS, remembers the state of the game, and basically allows you to recreate the scene automatically through the cloud. Awesome. Now let's dive into other stuff and other kind of values that you're getting by basically connecting your XR application into the cloud. So one of those things that we saw already is you can kind of manage data. You can have individual data points associated with each asset and also connect it to the cloud. You can monitor locations. For example, if I want to upload a 3D model and make it, I don't know, be persistent in, let's say, New York, that means that I can build like really cool applications that if I open it in New York, I'm going to see the Empire State Building. But if I open it in San Francisco, I'm going to see the Golden Gate Bridge. Basically, create your own Pokemon Go style experience, but just dragging and dropping a few assets. Let's check this out. So now I'm able to monitor the content distribution, which servers around the world are supporting my application, and where my users are coming from. Basically getting data just by connecting your application to the cloud. We can also kind of show insights. So for example, now we just kind of stream the Empire State Building. I see a spike in usage. This is you guys basically scanning the QR code. We're able to see what works. If you're working in e-commerce, for example, that's pretty powerful. That means that you can basically upload different products and see, oh, the green couch sells better than the red couch because more people are trying to stream it and trying to kind of play around with it. Another thing that you can do is to automatically decide that you want to compress and convert assets. So if you think about it, let's say you have users all over the world and their internet connectivity isn't that good. What happens in 2D? We're already used to that. If you're watching a video and your internet lags, frames are being skipped, the quality reduces. What's the equivalent in 3D? So what we do is we automatically poly-reduce and compress your assets. So if someone that doesn't have like a really good internet will still get the experience, but they're going to get the lower resolution version of your assets. And that happens automatically. Or so you can kind of decide that you want to do that. Let's say I want to poly-reduce this model by 45%. I can literally do that with a few clicks. Other stuff that are really important is for you to basically be able to edit content on the fly. So if we are building an application and tomorrow is Valentine's Day and we want to make sure that the Empire State Building is red instead of yellow, we can change that in the console right here. Basically just change the textures automatically. We can also customize the scene itself. If you want to kind of bring a few assets together, we can do that inside the console as well. You can add buttons, interactivity. We have a bunch of clients in the advertising space that basically upload 3D assets of, let's say, Sonic the Hedgehog, then add a few buttons like buy tickets now, add their logo and whatnot, and you can kind of see that automatically working on your web page. Another cool stuff is basically our tutorial page. We have a bunch of resources here of open source examples that you can use to build applications. If it's face filters, if it's kind of things around advertising or data visualization. Really cool stuff. And my favorite page is actually this inspiration page. This is a page filled with so many examples. Today we have over 22,000 developers on our platform who are building applications. And you can basically kind of go through all these examples to get inspired what people are building in the world of 3D. I can guarantee you that in your industry, regardless where you're at, you need 3D content. That's definitely where the future is headed. If you're not convinced yet through this amazing conference, it's definitely something that you need to look into. We transitioned from web to mobile to now to 3D, and it's definitely really inspiring to see how people are using like cloud to basically create really cool applications in healthcare and gaming and data visualization and training and so much more. Perfect. Let's transition back to the slides. So kind of recapping what we saw so far. So as a developer, you can basically choose any technology. You can choose things like Arcade, Core, A-Frame, Eighth Wall, Unity, literally anything you want. Content creators need no technical skills. All you saw in the beginning, we kind of dragged and dropped a lot of assets. Nothing kind of was pretty technical, but automatically all that data kind of dropped into those renderers. We as a cloud provider just make sure to build, store, and deliver those assets specifically in the right form, in the right format, and in the right kind of compression level. This means, again, that if you're building a game, if you're building an experience, that today we see those issues everywhere. The games and the applications are so massive and so large and so hard to update. Every time, let's pick up an example like IKEA that has like a really cool app, but it's really large. And every time you want to add a lamp or a couch, you have to rebuild the application, or you as a user need to re-download all these updates. We're seeing the same thing with amazing games like Fortnite that you play a game, but then every 3 months there's a season, and that season is basically a major update of 3 gigabytes that you have to download to your device. when we think about the cloud, this means that apps are now much, much smaller because we take the content away from the build. And it's really easy to update. Like you saw earlier, I want this building to rotate. Perfect. I click a button. I want to add more assets to the game. I click a button. I want to change textures. I click another button. And these are, again, the things that we love to kind of evangelize, that kind of perspective that 3D applications should be hyper dynamic, hyper changeable. The things that we love about 2D applications, like Twitter or Facebook, that you can always go in and you get new content. That's something we're still not seeing in 3D, and this is what we're trying to change. So as we mentioned, developers obviously save time and money in building their application. Content creators need no technical skills, and companies that use Echo today basically send data all over the world with just a few clicks. As I mentioned, we have over 22,000 at this point developers who are using our platform to build applications at scale. Really cool, innovative use cases, and we're also a Unity verified solution partner, which means that the amazing team at Unity already kind of verified our tech, verified our SDK, and made sure it works with the latest version of Unity. So your Unity applications will work really, really fast. Again, kind of talking about like holistically about 3D content. Today we're seeing content everywhere, if it's gaming, if it's AR, VR, if it's e-commerce. Again, I'm telling you, your industry needs 3D content in some capacity, and you're only limited by your imagination of how you can implement that. And we're seeing it again everywhere. If you think about like this kind of generational thing, people who are younger than me at this point are looking at the world through their camera. Using camera-first applications like TikTok or Snapchat, that's the kind of way to go. And when we talk about face filters, that's augmented reality. So we're seeing everyone kind of adopting 3D content, camera-first applications, and you should definitely, again, consider bringing that into your industry wherever you're working or wherever you're doing. A little bit more about us as a company. We won a bunch of awards, raised money from amazing venture capitalists, went through Techstars, got investments from VCs, and recently, as just mentioned, just closed another round with Qualcomm, who just invested in us, bringing our total funding to $9.5 million. Plugging the company a little bit, we are hiring across the US and specifically in New York. So if anyone is looking for a cool job within an XR company, please say hello. And yeah, I mean, I think what's cool about, again, what's happening specifically here in AWE is we're bringing the community together, and we're seeing everyone trying to tackle amazing, amazing issues in the world of 3D, AR, and VR, and we're really trying to focus on the invisible stuff, not the graphics, not the hardware, but the conversion, compression, the streaming, the underlying technology that is mostly invisible in the world of 3D. So make sure you register. As I mentioned, we have a free tier that you can play around with, recreate exactly what I just did, just drag and drop some assets, automatically stream them to everyone in the world with just a few clicks. Definitely a really cool wow moment and kind of wow factor you can kind of send friends right now. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. This is my email over there and our website, and you can always scan this QR code to see the Empire State Building wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you had fun and enjoyed AWE in general, and specifically this talk. Thank you so much, everyone. And we have a few time for questions. If anyone wants to jump in, feel free.
Do you guys do like caching on locally?
Yep. So it really depends on the kind of which SDK you use. For Unity, we do caching. For web, that kind of usually happens automatically on the browser. But yeah, it really just depends on which kind of SDK you use, and then we just have different ones that implement caching at different kind of options, I guess.
And then so for like videos, you'll often have like a lower res, and then when you get more bandwidth, it'll go higher res. Do you guys do that?
Yeah. So I haven't showed it, but I can literally upload this as an MP4 file. We'll create different versions, and also like a GIF version, just if you want to just use that. And then you can embed that the same way we did the website, the 3D model.
Okay, so that will work for 3D models, like the lower version that goes up to a higher version over time.
Exactly, and you can literally say, I want for this project, I want only the one, like I want the 35% version to be rendered, or for this users in this location, I want the 25% poly reduced version to be rendered and stuff like that. So sometimes it happens automatically, but you can also kind of decide through an API call that this is something that I want to force.
Cool.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the question.
Hi, great product. I'm curious to know, like, are you talking to like various decentralized metaverse platform about like integration in their metaverses, like using API calls or components?
Yeah, definitely. So we had a conversation with Decentraland, with Roblox, There's also what you're seeing right now is we're waiting for like Snapchat or like Spark AR to kind of open APIs as well, so we can kind of integrate with that. But yeah, you're seeing so many kind of metaverse applications and so many platforms there that want to bring users to them. And I think what's again unique about us is like we don't bet on the horse, we bet on the track. Use whatever, use any platform that you want. Make sure that you're not vendor locked. If you want to move from one metaverse to another, or you want to move from one app or one render, you can do that. And that's what we are, again, trying to champion, that you save your own assets and you can kind of take them wherever you go. Great question. Thank you so much.
Hi there, interesting. How do you, can you just elaborate a little bit on, like, how do you drive the interactions with the game object? So if you develop something on Unity,
Yep.
typically you have the game object in screen, you know, you touch it and it explodes or whatever. Can you just talk a little bit how that works then by having the game objects in the cloud?
Yeah, so definitely. So at the end, your app is still a completely native Unity app. You can do anything that you can do with any other app. You're only just putting the meshes on the cloud. So you can still have kind of game objects and you can still have colliders and anything. And just the minute you press play, those meshes appear out of thin air. The cool thing about that as well is that you can kind of also build your app however you want and then post those meshes, those game objects to the cloud with some like one API call. And then it basically kind of saves your game in that state. And then you kind of recreate it. But at the end, you can also do everything through scripting. So every asset that is being instantiated has this kind of small empty script attached to it. And you can decide when this is instantiated, add a collider, add physics, add particles. And you can literally do that with just a few lines of code. If you go to our website, we have on our GitHub page a bunch of open source examples that already implement all these things. And you can literally just start from like a kind of fresh project that has all these things pre-implemented. Great question. Any other question? Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your time at the conference. And thank you so much for saying hello. And check out Echo 3D.